I would say your ego is confidence in your superficial self. Like confidence in your flesh, not your spirit. That's what I would define ego as. Like things in the sense of vanity, not like spiritual. Yeah. Ego affects the way that you love, because love is a place of unselfishness. To reach the ultimate height of love, you have to be unselfish. And ego is driven by selfishness and vanity in your flesh. So that's all the stuff like, I look good, I make this a certain amount of money, or I bring this to the table. That's respectable, but it's like when you're really in love, when you love one another, it's a unity. It's what do we do for us, not just you. And I feel like ego is a you thing and love is a us thing. So it's hard to combine you and us. Yes, I feel like love is an ultimate key element to success, because if you don't know what you love or why you love, then I feel like you're missing a key component into passion or providing that drive that makes you go to the next element. Because success is such, it's a task that takes a lot, and at times you lose your path on that journey, and love will always recenter you and always bring you back to that path. How I allow people to give me love, I would say, is like mentally and physically, and I realize that a lot with myself. And it's like I set certain boundaries which I allow people to give me their love, and there's other boundaries that I seek within myself. Well, I try to do that, but it tends not to work out like that. Like life has a way of destroying stuff that way. But me receiving love, I would say right now is my relationship with God. I say that's the best way I can receive love, because that feeds my soul and my spirit, which allows me to understand the love that people are trying to necessarily give me, like while I'm here.
Would you say it's difficult for you to receive love?
Extremely. Like that's my one of my biggest problems. It's hard for me to receive help or love or just accept anything. Like I tend to get the label of like I'm a great friend, but I'm a horrible bae. When you start to understand the human brain and you understand people, a lot of times people will give you love or give you emotions or give you things, even though they say it's from a genuine place, but it really has an attachment to it. Like people tend to like, and I love my mother to death, my mother does this. She loves a lot, and it's from a genuine place, but it's also to distract her from dealing with her own issues or to deal with what's going on inside. And I feel like a lot of times people, like how can somebody love me but they don't love themselves or love God? And that's what kind of bugs me. Because to me, I feel like that's the true ultimateness of love. And it's like, how can you give me something that you don't have for yourself? That's kind of like scary. It's like, what's the substance and depth of that love? Like, what do you really mean with that love? Because if you haven't found it within your soul, for you to give me that is almost like, it's almost kind of empty. Not to get too deep, but it's just like, so it's like until you get to that space where you genuinely are on the quest to love yourself, then we could talk about you loving somebody else. So me and my mom used to really like go shopping together, go food shopping together. Like me and my mom, we still live together. So it's like we have that relationship. Like me and my mom, we just talk like human being to human being now. And growing up and until now, it's just like a bond of just love that is unconditional. And it's just like, that's my world. I love her to death. Like the ins and outs and the pains and the mind and the thought process of a woman, that's major. I think as I gotten older and understanding women more, it's like I should love a woman's mind before I love her body. And so much goes on a woman's mind that, and your brain is going all over the place, that sometimes you just need someone to just say, and being with my mother that helped me understand that, and understanding her pain and what my dad did to her, and seeing how her mind went to a certain place, and how sometimes like literally just going my like and just giving her a hug and say, yo, that can help so much. So that helped me a lot. The other, I would say 35% was just growing up in my environment. You know what I'm saying? It's a jungle out here. Like I feel like, especially probably in New York City, like a lot of young women don't know what it is to receive love or reciprocate love. So when you try to be such a important part in their life, they kind of shun you and say they don't want that. They want the bad boys. So growing up, it was kind of tough. But now, I think I got a nice formula. How many times I've been heartbroken by a human being? I would say 3 times. I've forgiven 2 other people, even though it wasn't intentional, or if it was intentional, because I understand like there was so much pain in this world, and so much can like come from what the world has done to people that it causes them to like react and go about it a certain way. But certain things I'm still dealing with, and I'm getting there. Growing up, I always looked up to my pops, like for real. Like he was always, I would say, the main one, just off the fact it's like you look like me, I act like you. We are just so in tune and alike. But there was other elements in there. Like there was like I looked up to Kanye West for a long time. My cousin Al, he was always like, he's like my cousin's husband. At the time, I looked up to him. He always had like fresh pair of Timbs, used to give me clothes and stuff like that. He just represented like being able to live the family life, still have the house and car, but you're still close to the hood, the streets, and you know what's going on. So I would say my father, Al, Kanye West, Cameron for a little bit. Cameron had like 6 months. I'm lying, 18 months. And then, yeah, I would say those are the men I looked up to. But, so it just gives me different elements of what I was trying to acquire at that time, where my mental space was at. Whoever that male figure at the time was, provided that for me. And growing up, my definition of success was Lambo, mansion, and excuse my language, the bitches, man. Now my definition of success and what I view success as is, I feel like the Holy Trinity, mind, body, and soul. Like that quest to understand mind, body, and soul and get to that space where I know that balance. I feel like everything that I want to acquire on this earth will come once I reach that. It's more of an inner thing. Like I feel like success for me is more internal now than it was external. I feel like sexy, the negative connotation it still has with me is like, it's the exportation of the human body in a physical way, or the exportation of a human energy or frequency in a way that is attractive or arousing in a physical way. That's my definition. And yes, sexy does 99% of the time in my mind correlate with women, and I'm still working on that. I'm still trying to like I cut my the cat calling down of like 1%. It's like I'm working on that. I understand like where we're at now, and like women like equality and respecting their mind, body, and soul, and like giving them a platform where they feel comfortable to be sexy in their own light, not from the definition or point of view of me, of how I want them to be sexy, if that makes sense. Like I'm living to that standard of, because like I said, to me God is love, and the standard that society sets that I view is that it's probably just America, but it's vanity and capitalism. I don't want life to be run by money. It should be run by love. Like things in this world should be dope because it inspires people and it makes them want to be the best version of themselves, not make them feel like they don't fit a standard that's false, that nobody can necessarily fit that standard. So my standard is love. It starts with loving me, and once I love me, then I feel like I can help other people love themselves, so it becomes a we thing and not a us thing. So fuck society standards.